What is up, everybody? Welcome to Sixers Postgame Live. The Sixers got the L 139-89 in this one. Not a lot to take out of this one. Hard to take this game seriously with all the players, good players out. But I thought Jared McCain looked solid. I thought there were some solid moments from Gershon Yabusele. I thought KJ Martin and his decision-making looked pretty solid. We're going to break down really player to player on this because it is preseason. The score doesn't matter, but there were some glimpses. There were some flashes of positivity that we can take from this thing. Man, just I don't know who is scheduling preseason back-to-backs, but it's a fraud. It's a fraud. Let's jump right into this thing. And we got to lead off with Jared McCain. Jared McCain finished the game with 20 points, 9 of 21 from the floor, 1 of 8 from 3. He only went to the free throw line once. He did convert that. 3 assists, 3 steals, 4 turnovers. Quick recap on Jared McCain. I thought, at least at the start of the game, he looked active on defense. I mean, obviously the weaknesses is his defense. He was getting attacked via mismatches as expected. But I was impressed by how much he fought. I mean, there were times, especially in the first half, when he was battling Jaylen Brown down in the paint, boxing out. I thought, without a doubt, looked his best, including the Summer League, in terms of finishing at the rim. He had a one-handed runner off the glass in transition. He hit a fadeaway jumper from 8 feet with a hand in his face. Honestly, I feel like there's a little Tyrese Maxey coming, kind of rubbing off on Jared McCain's game. And I thought that the confidence, the court vision, the handles, the mid-range game, him driving into the paint, the quick release, it looked really good. And the fact that he looked that good out there against the Celtics starters, it was both surprising and amazing. In the second half, you saw some catch and shoot threes. You saw him take Peyton Pritchard off the dribble, finish at the rim. And, coming into this season, like I thought for sure he was a Delaware Bluecoats kind of guy. Probably Nick Nurse is going to play this guy, at the bottom of the list. Nick Nurse is going to prefer to play his veterans. You look at Kyle Lowry, who turns, I think, 39, in March. And then you look at Eric Gordon, who turns 36 coming up. I expect Nick Nurse to rely on those guys, at least from the jump. But I think it's pretty clear that the hope for Jared McCain is that he can be a primary backup guard by the end of the season. Jared McCain's a tricky one because I was overly critical on him, especially during the Summer League. He wasn't in my top 10 guys for the Sixers to draft in the first round when I was covering the NBA draft. His physical profile is hard to wrap your head around. Sometimes he looks limited, especially on defense. He's got short arms. He's not super quick laterally. Doesn't have a lot of bounce. Other times he looks strong as shit. Other times he's trying to yam it on a guy. As we saw, he missed that dunk. But long story short, I think Jared McCain is a tough read. And I am absolutely willing to wait it out and see what we got in this guy. I was just happy to see that we got to see Jared McCain get a lot of on-ball tonight. A lot of decision-making. And for the most part, yeah, he got picked on defensively, and his ceiling will always be limited because of his defense. I thought it was good. I thought it was an overall very, very solid performance from Jared McCain. You look at it, nobody's going to have good plus minuses in this game. But let's roll on to another one. And I think we should probably talk about Gershon Yabusele. Yabusele looked really bad in the first quarter, but he did turn it around. Yabusele had 8 points in 20 minutes. 3 boards, 2 assists, and a block. He shot 2 of 4 from 3-point range. Quick recap. He had a nice stretch there where he hit back-to-back catch-and-shoot threes, both off a drive and dish from Jared McCain. You got to love the aggressiveness from the perimeter. That's really all I want to see. This is another tough game to read out of Gershon Yabusele because you're never going to see this guy be a primary option on offense. This is a guy that has a long history of never being a number one option. I expect him to shine the most when he's not the biggest guy on the court or the best scorer on the court. I think he's a capable second, third string 4 and 5 in the NBA, which is why I'm excited to see him play next to Andre Drummond. And I thought he had a solid second half. I like his feel for the game. There was one play where he was involved in a pick and roll, and he made a nice pass to KJ Martin under the basket. I liked how he kind of sensed the defense, sensed the pressure, and made a good basketball decision. So, yeah, he shot 2 of 4 from 3-point range. That's really what I'm most excited about when it comes to Gershon Yabusele. That 3-point attempt rate and how real the 3-point shot is, that is what the bread and butter of Yabusele. That'll probably dictate his career in Philadelphia. So far, so good. I am totally good with Yabusele. Tough situation for him, for sure, tonight, especially with all the guys out. Let's roll on to another guy we should probably give a shout out to, and let's talk about Ricky Council. Not the most offensively efficient game. Again, a game that he's playing clearly out of his comfort zone. We have Quentin in the house saying top 8 team. But, Ricky Council, his defense has been shaky this preseason. He's been making some terrible decisions on his drives, missing defensive rotations. That's got to get better if he wants a true rotation spot, especially with Nick Nurse. But I love the perimeter shooting today, even though he shot where is it? He only shot 2 of 8 from 3, but I loved the range. I mean, he was shooting like 30 feet out from the perimeter, Isaiah Joe kind of vibes. Happy about that. Not the best Ricky Council game by far. His improvement last year as a 3-point shooter was incredible. We already know what this guy's all about. He's phenomenal getting downhill, drawing fouls, elite at finishing around the rim. Hopefully, just like Jared McCain, this is a guy that they can slowly ramp up and get this guy ready for playoff minutes. I'd love to see him get some starts here and there. No more Tobias Harris clogging the way. Ricky Council has to get better, and he knows that. But that's a little bit about Ricky Council. Where should we go next? Let's talk about Justin Edwards, another guy that I really wasn't very high on, especially during the summer league. I mean, he's the anti-Jeff Doughton. He's all about upside. I mean, in this game, he played 30 minutes. That had to be the most minutes he's ever played in an NBA game, regardless. He had 9 points. He shot 0 of 5 from 3-point range, 4 of 11 from the field. He had an assist. There were some nice moments, though. He had a solid drive and a reverse layup. I'm intrigued with Edwards playing with the Sixers' real rotation. He's obviously a guy that has length, a guy that has size, a guy that potentially could space the floor. You see kind of where he fits. He's definitely probably going to be mentored underneath Paul George, kind of has that same body type. He had a nice little runner in the lane in the second half. I thought there was a nice sequence where he played some really solid on-ball defense, ISO defense against Jaylen Brown. We have Phil in the house talking about that game. Dedication to – dude, cheers, man. We deserve an award for living through not only the product on the court, but living through the broadcasters of the Boston Celtics, it was god awful, man. Thanks for joining, Phil. But outside of that, it was a tough first half. The Sixers ran small ball, truly gave you a sense of how valuable Andre Drummond will be on this team going forward. Outside of McCain, especially in that first half, everyone was pretty terrible. And I thought in the second half, you saw Council and Yabusele get better. They started to play a little bit better in the second quarter, but it was a very, very forgettable game for the Philadelphia 76ers. Outside of that, Adem Bona gave me nothing. Jeff Doughton continues to be that guy that really doesn't move the needle for me. You know exactly what you're going to get with him. Some solid floor spacing and experience, but even him didn't shoot the ball well. KJ Martin had a couple of nice moments. You kind of see where he fits there for sure. But, I mean, he's not going to create, or he's not going to space the floor very well. That's pretty well known. Outside of that, let's get to our top takeaways from the Sixers offense. Top takeaways from the Sixers offense, as I'm trying to pull up the box score here. Not a lot to take out of this one. This is going to be a kind of a regular thing for Sixers postgame. The Sixers really struggled shooting the ball. They got, outscored in the paint. They did not rebound well, as expected. They did not get points off turnovers. I don't really even know where to go with this one, but let's just throw it to our top defensive takeaways from this game as well. Here is a complete list of the top takeaways from the Sixers defense tonight. Yeah, absolutely zero takeaways from the defense. That was god awful. The offense, the defense. There were times when nobody knew what they were doing. Guys were missing assignments on defense. It was god awful. Player of the game. Let's get into some of the top highlights of this one. Here is Jeff Doughton finding KJ Martin with a nice N1 finish at the rim. That's about what he is good for, KJ Martin, until he gets traded, come January for a starting four. Here's another play. Nice little pick and roll action between Yabusele and Jared McCain. And yeah, by far the best we have seen from Jared McCain in terms of finishing around the basket. We're going to see this quite a bit throughout this highlight reel. Kudos to Jared McCain, man. Good. I'm just happy to see him get that swagger, get that confidence back that really was absent during the summer league. Next one, Jared McCain. Nice little hezzy. Finds Yabusele in the corner for three. That was a nice little drive and dish. We're going to see this again, I believe. Little pick and roll action. Yabusele hangs at the top of the key, pulls up, and hits the three. Gotta love that. Nice little deflection from Adem Bona, finds, I believe that's Ricky Council. I could be wrong. And then KJ Martin for the alley-oop. little more Jared McCain crossover on Derek White. Cooking Derek White, by the way. Gotta love that. And finishes through contact. More finishing through contact from Jared McCain. Very, very nice. Next up, here's a little more. I didn't even know Jared McCain had this. Again, I feel like Jared McCain is going to be a guy like Tyrese Maxey. We're probably going to be pushing back the chains. Full coherency. I still think he gets traded at the end of the day. But, yeah, got to give him a shout-out. This was by far the best he has looked around the basket. Next play, that's Justin Edwards with the Euro step. Gotta love that. And the finish. And that basically wraps it up. Justin Edwards, a lot of upside, but we're going to be waiting for that upside. And when he hits that upside, it's probably not going to be with the Philadelphia 76ers. Let's get to player of the game. For me, without a doubt, it's Jared McCain. Again, 20 points. He was a minus 40, but don't look at that, guys. This is a game where don't look at the box score. I thought there were true improvements from Jared McCain around the basket, the feel with the ball in his hands. We got a nice sense of where he's at in terms of creating for others and as a passer. I think his true upside will be dictated by his development as a passer. I don't think he's going to play that role with the Sixers this season, which is why I'm hoping he gets more time with the Delaware Bluecoats, at least initially. But we'll see. We'll see. I think he is a perfect backup to Eric Gordon, kind of fulfilling that role to be a catch-and-shoot guy, a microwave scorer that can let it rip from three, not hesitate from three. He's going to do that. But I am most intrigued with Jared McCain and his ball handling and passing. It's not gonna happen this season. Again, I think he's only 19 years old. But again, a guy that I was not exactly thrilled with when the Sixers drafted him. I was hoping for a wing and a guy in that ilk. But Jared McCain deserves a hell of a shout out for probably playing his best game, regardless. Summer League, preseason, you name it. He's been turning heads during training camp, and it's only continues. So how far does he climb the ladder in that guard rotation? I still think Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon are above him. Reggie Jackson, I think, is the question mark. If I had to guess, I still think Reggie Jackson gets the start over him. But guys, that basically wraps it up. We will be back tomorrow at noon for our Week 8 college football preview, talking Georgia versus Texas. A lot of great games next week. Reaction to Week 7 of college football. A lot of fun games, especially right now between Oregon and Ohio State. It's a 1-point game with 10 minutes left in the fourth quarter. We have Eagles halftime and postgame live, and you can expect more of my shorts, especially from this game and Week 7 of college football. Thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you next time for Sixers postgame. I am Dibes. Stay awesome, everyone.